Roundabout we go. Roundabout we go. Roundabout we go.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
In other news, Dr. Edward Sawyer Cooper, God, that's a big name, first black president of the American Heart Association, influenced food labeling and advanced stroke research. It has to be him. Why couldn't they have figured that one out? It's good news, but it took that. Cooper, 97, became the first black tenured professor at the nation's oldest medical school, the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, and the first chief of medical services at the U.S. Air Force Hospital. So, soon after his 97th birthday, Dr. Edward Cooper sat down and began writing. The focus was his career and particularly his work with the American Heart Association. Once typed and printed, his thoughts filled 5 pages, spilling onto a 6th. Looking over the printout, Cooper thought it needed more work. He grabbed a black pen and made a few corrections, some clarifications, added details, all clear cursive. For anybody who is really, really young, cursive is the handwriting we used to use other than the letters you're looking at. If you never heard of it, I'm still shocked that they stopped teaching it. Anyway.
Right. Back in my day, we wrote in cursive.
Yes, it was called handwriting. It didn't make any sense.
Doing it.
It looked like chicken scratch. But you didn't care. You know what? You shut the hell up, god dang bragging ass unicorn. Always gotta brag.
Oh, my cursive
she
is
still,
not. It looks a hot ass.
She went away and still bragging. You can hear the distance.
But I know how to do it.
Yeah, I know how to do it too. I want to know what the hell happens when you have to sign a contract now. It's gonna have to be like Japan. Japan gives you a stamp with your name. My name looks very interesting.
That probably come in handy.
Probably. We probably gonna have to do that.
We still allow in our legal documents to have X's on them.
You sure? Yeah. So let me see here now. Okay, so moving on with him. First, there's the background material itself. Cooper outlined his path to becoming the first black tenured professor at the nation's oldest medical school. Real talk. If you're interested in doing, medical information and stuff, I feel like you should probably read his book or read whatever he wrote. Let's see. Yet the document represents so much more. The forethought to make it and the dedication to get it just right sends 2 distinct messages. How sharp is his mind at 97? Woo! And how proud is he of his legacy? And there is the man right there. He looks good for 97.
Yeah, you go. Still got his little trench on. Okay, got the cane. You get it, boy?
And those good old dress shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So what is his legacy? With the AHA turning 100 this year, the organization is looking back at many of the most influential people in its history. Dr. Edward Sawyer Cooper is clearly among them for the roles he played in advancing stroke care and encouraging black people and other underrepresented communities into medicine. Both efforts remain major areas of emphasis for the AHA. So y'all bastards need to consider this when you consider us less than human. This man right here helped a lot of y'all who had strokes. And I know not all people that had strokes were of melanated color. But yet you still treat our race like shit. I just don't get it.
Right, this work helps everybody.
So what else did he do? He inspired a pediatrician and scarlet fever. Cooper's dad was a dentist. He was inspired by. Sorry, he did not inspire these. He was inspired by a pediatrician and scarlet fever. Cooper's dad was a dentist, as were 2 of his uncles. So it's no surprise that while growing up in Columbia, South Carolina, he wanted to become a doctor. The twist in his inspiration came from someone else. Ed was 7 when his younger brother had scarlet fever. A prominent pediatrician made a house call to treat the child. Ed observed the doctor's every move, and on the way out, the man patted Ed on the head and said, "You're going to be a good pediatrician." Good grief, they even saw his potential that young. it's good to see that when you see a kid showing potential that early. It really is.
Yeah, you're gonna end up being a doctor. I could tell that early. I mean, clearly he has a love for it. 97, boy.
Mm-hmm. Cooper absorbed it as his destiny. His senior year of high school, the yearbook referred to him as the future famous pediatrician. Also notable in the school year itself, 1941 to 42, when Pearl Harbor was bombed, plunging the U.S. into World War II. Another interesting nugget, Cooper graduated at 15. He started first grade a year early, then skipped fifth grade. South Carolina schools.
Okay, he worked with Doogie Howser.
Yep. South Carolina schools only went to 11th grade back then. Eager to get his career going, Cooper zipped through college too. He took classes year-round to graduate from Lincoln University, a historically black college in Pennsylvania, at 18. Yeah, I had to do that too, but I was much older. I went to school year-round, but it was art school. Turning that age during World War II meant registering for the draft. Cooper got called in for a physical. By then, he'd been accepted to Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee, another HBCU. Following his mom's advice, he showed his acceptance letter to the doctor who examined it. Let's see what happened. I hope he got out. That's fine, the man said, hardly looking at the letter. Soon, Cooper received reporting order. I guess it didn't work. His mother then took the acceptance letter to the head of the local draft board. We need doctors more than we need privates, the head of the draft board said. Cooper's military obligation was deferred until after his medical training. Damn right. They could see he had potential. Finding the truth about heart attacks in black patients. At Meharry, Cooper became fascinated with every aspect of the human body, suddenly treating kids seeming limiting. Wanting to treat patients with a broader range of diseases, he decided to become a specialist in adult internal medicine. The man is smart. Good grief. One day, a professor showed Cooper an article in a scientific journal. It said heart attacks were rare in black patients. What do you think about this? The professor asked Cooper. Why don't we look at it and see what the situation is? In what became his first research project, Cooper tracked patients at his local hospital for several months. He found that what every major research since has found, there was no shortage of heart attacks among Hubbard Hospital's black patients. He wrote in the document it prepared for his story. Now see, his professor came to him, told him it was rare. He did research, several months, found out, no, that's not true. The next step...
Right, let that be a lesson to everybody. You got to do your own research. Don't just listen to somebody based off of whatever they have. A degree, no degree. Go look for yourself.
It's all about more than one opinion. I learned that the hard way.
What you learned about more than one opinion the hard way?
I was having breathing problems. You know, like I said, I'm severely anemic, so I had some issues. And at first, I thought it was just like my heart, and they said no, it's not. And I was still having chest pains. So my mom was like, "You need to stop doing that and get a second opinion. You don't have to just take one answer." So
right. No, you always do want to get a second opinion, especially with your life, with your health, things that are mattering to you. That person gonna go home and go to sleep.
Yeah,
you got to make sure you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, so I hurried up and changed. Let's see. The next step after medical school was an internship. Cooper was such a great candidate that he had offers from hospitals in Chicago, Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Jersey City, New Jersey. Philadelphia was a 2-year program. The other ones were 1. Philadelphia was unpaid. Others were paid. Which one did he take? Yet Philadelphia had something else going for it. As a child, Ed loved spending Saturdays in his dad's office. When he wasn't sterilizing equipment or watching how gently his dad treated patients, he liked looking at the diplomas, plaques, and such on the walls. One commemorated on externship at, what the hell's an externship? At Philadelphia General Hospital. The same facility now trying to lure him. Still, those were some serious trade-offs. He called his dad to discuss it. Philadelphia General, no question about it, his dad said. To help seal the deal, Dad offered to continue paying Cooper's expenses, just as he'd done for college and medical school. God, I wish I had had that set up. Let's see here now.
All right.
Philadelphia General was among the... Oh, what you say?
I was going to answer your question what an externship is.
I don't know.
Internship is internship is when you work within the company. But externship is when they send you out to another company and like outsource you get skills from there.
Oh, okay. I learned something new today.
Okay, come through, Unicorn, with the information on deck.
Girl, thank you.
Yeah, we smarts.
Philadelphia General was among the oldest and largest hospital in the country. While it brought in 50 interns per year, the 2-year cycle meant 100 were always on staff. Cooper was the third black intern in PGH history and the only black person in his 50-person cohort. Ooh, I bet he felt alone. The hospital's patients.
Yeah.
The hospital's patients were.
In that era, he got called nigga or something racist.
Please don't say that again. We are recording. I have to get that out now. The hospital's patients were pretty much split between black and white, but while on neurology rotation, Cooper noticed most strokes patients were black. He noticed a few more trends. Most of the strokes were hemorrhage. They were bleeding, meaning they were caused by bleeding in the brain, and most hemorrhage.
Here we go. Come on, power through it.
Most hemorrhagic stroke patients had uncontrolled hypertension, which at the time was only a known risk factor for heart disease. This is why I did medical coding, so I didn't have to say these things. I just knew what they were. Cooper wondered, is this a case? Is this a cause and effect thing, or is this just a coincidence? Those seem like important questions because with little to no treatment available, outcomes were miserable. About half the stroke patients unalived, and most survivors had severe disabilities. A pact with God. Soon, however, Cooper faced his own life or death drama. During the rotation, Cooper went an entire weekend shift without sleeping more than a full hour. He felt dizzy and feverish. Worried, he went to the infirmary. His temperature was 105. Yeah, that's bad. Mine was 106 when I was little. That's fucked.
Yeah, that is very much so crucial conflict levels right there.
Cooper had been at PGH long enough to know who the best doctors were. He asked to be treated by them. Even they couldn't figure out what was wrong. Trial and error with medicines kept coming up with errors. His fever continued to rage. He began hallucinating. Then came a vivid nightmare featuring coffins, skulls, and crossbones. He awoke thinking, I guess this is it. He figured there was only one thing left for him to do. Growing up, Cooper got on his knees and prayed before getting in bed each night. In college, roommates teased him for doing it, so he stopped. Now it was time to again appeal to the heavens. Cooper looked up and said, Good Lord, if you help me through this, I assure I will do everything I can to help those poor patients with stroke. Around the same time, doctors solved the medical mystery. Cooper had an invasive type of flu that also caused pneumonia. Damn! Soon, the correct antibiotics were flowing through his body. Days later, Cooper's temperature was gone. Several valuable things remained. An appreciation for what it's like being a patient, a special bond with several of the PGH top doctors, and a promise to keep. Cooper finished his internship and residency, it's a bad night for me, at PGH in 1954. Now married to Jean, herself a doctor, and with a daughter, it was time to fulfill his military obligation. The family left Philadelphia for the Philippines. Cooper spent 2 years as the first black chief of medical services at the U.S. Air Force Hospital. All right now. Those top docs at PGH invited him back for cardiology fellowship. When he and Jean returned, they were up to 4 kids. Good grief. He was busy.
I said, wow.
He was busy. Oh, yes. After fellowship, Cooper became an attending physician and faculty member at the University of Pennsylvania Medical Services. This meant he could do research, see patients, and teach medical students. The hospital also allowed him to become the first program director at Mercy Douglas Hospital, Philadelphia's only black hospital. I did not know that.
Wow.
In the late 1960s, Penn received a $1 million federal grant to to set up a stroke research center at PGH. Cooper, a co-founder, served as its co-director for 10 years until the hospital closed. He then moved to the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, eventually becoming a member of its board of trustees. This man was on his business.
Right, he meant that promise.
In 1972, Penn made Cooper a tenured professor, an honor the school had never given to a black doctor. Breaking the barrier was nice. Nicer was one of the perks. Free tuition for his kids. Hell yeah. That was a big relief.
Absolutely. Right, for real. He just came up.
He said it too. He said that was a big relief. For kids? Oh, yes. So, examining MLK, yeah, and being guarding, yeah, that's what it says. Being guarding. Y'all see it. Harry Belafonte. Over 4 decades of practice, Cooper's body of work included countless scientific papers, trainees, and patients. Yet the case he'd asked about most involves a simple physical, because the patient was the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In 1958, a woman stabbed King in the chest with a 7-inch letter opener during a book signing. Doctors spent hours carefully removing the blade. Wow, she left it there? Most people, if you stab someone, you kind of take it back with you. Whew.
Right. Sad, very sad. I was so devastated when I heard this story growing up. Like, what?
He healed amazingly well. A few years later, he wanted to have the scar smoothed out by a friend who was a dermatologist at Mercy Douglas. While in the hospital, King requested a physical. The dermatologist said, "I know exactly the guy you need to see. Cooper, of course." Today, a full workout takes hours. Back then, it took days. King spent them working from his hospital room. One day, he hosted a meeting with Harry Belafonte, a major celebrity and civil rights leader, to discuss an upcoming event. Before Belafonte arrived, King told Cooper, "I want you to get somebody to meet him and bring him up here." Cooper gladly did it himself. When Belafonte was ready to leave, Cooper escorted him back down. Surprise, folks had heard the Belafonte was there. The lobby was packed with fans. Cooper was a doctor, not a bodyguard. He didn't know what to do. Good thing Belafonte did. "Don't make any sudden moves," he told Cooper. "That's a damn shame." God dang, I can't believe that works for fans, too. He told him, "Just walk smoothly and don't say anything. We'll go out the back door and I'll sign some autographs." You know, I usually hear people say don't make any sudden moves when it's like, you know, a dire situation, like an animal is about to come get you.
Right, like a bear or a lion or something, tiger, yeah.
I ain't never heard somebody use that for fans. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, back then with all the, you know, with who they were and what they had going, people, I'm sure, just wanted to rush up to them. But, you know, you would hope, you know, reminds me of when James Brown had to calm that crowd down from jumping up on stage and acting crazy.
Ooh. Well, now they punch him. That's a damn shame. A few years ago, a writer working on a biography about Cooper called Belafonte to verify the story. He remembered it all. All right, laughing and telling the writer, Dr. Cooper got a little skittish. Now, here's the big thing about what Cooper did. He brought black people into the medical field. Around the time Cooper joined the Penn faculty, colleagues recommended he get involved with the local branch of the American Heart Association. The AHA professional membership is broken into clusters called councils, each based on scientist specialties. Cooper joined the Stroke Council. In the 60s and 70s, he served long stints on the local board of directors. In 1982, he joined the National Board of Directors. That same year, he became chair of the Stroke Council. The AHA's mission statement then was the reduction of premature unaliving and disability from cardiovascular diseases. Anytime Cooper heard it, he quickly chimed in, "And stroke," always with a friendly smile. That would be me. I would always do that. I'm good with that. Just to fuck with you. Don't forget.
Stroke matters.
Yes.
Stroke matters.
Strokes matter. Strokes too. In 1985, while Cooper was still on the national board, the AHA amended its mission statement to all those 2 words. Cooper also volunteered with the National Medical Association, the largest organization representing black doctors and patients. So you learned something new today, because I didn't know. In the late 1960s, the NMA president asked Cooper to create a pipeline from HBCUs to medical schools. Recruiting black medical students wasn't just the right thing to do. It was smart business because the creation of Medicare and Medicaid tied federal funding to desegregation in healthcare. Cooper became head of the NMA's Talent Recruitment Council by the late 70s. The number of black medical students nearly doubled from the previous decade. Slow, steady growth has continued. Black doctors went from making up to 2.2% of the field in 1977. This isn't as big, but it's better. To around 5.7% today. I wish it was bigger. I really wish it was bigger.
Yeah.
That's better, but it could be better. So
yeah, we definitely had a lot more drive, I feel like, during his heyday. Mm-hmm. And isn't he close to Harry Belafonte's age, too?
I think he's older. How old is it, Harry? But is he still alive? I don't know who's alive anymore. Damn.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Me neither.
God dang. Are we old, or is it just the world is moving faster? I don't get it. Maybe it's both. Let's see.
Yeah, I would agree.
Within the AHA, Cooper also became a leader in the push for equal representation. In his document for this story, Cooper recalled a meeting in which an AHA president was trying to establish a women and minority leadership committee. It wasn't going well, he wrote, until she called on him for comments. The vote suddenly was positive and the resolution was passed. In the summer of 1992, Cooper became AHA's first black president. He also believes he was the first president to come up through the Stroke Council. Funny thing is, the hallmark of his tenure turned out to be food nutrition labels. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services was pushing for standardizing the information on nearly all packaged foods, while the Department of Agriculture was pushing against it. The HHS leader had been friends with Cooper for many years. During the final stages of negotiation with President George H.W. Bush, the man had two middle names. Why? That's too much. Where did I go?
George H.W.
Henry
Winkler.
Jesus Christ. Henry Winkler. Are you serious?
No.
Not. Okay. I believe it. I really do. That's horrible. But,
no.
What is it? Do you know? If not, I really don't care either.
Yeah, I did know for a minute. Give me a second because, you know what? Now I'm just going. Go here with it. All right. So this cat is George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying.
Herbert Walker?
No, I just don't like all of those damn names. I just don't like them. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I didn't like him, and I was too young to vote. I still didn't like him. So
yeah,
Cooper.
I remember when Bush was in office. Nightmare.
I thought it would work, and it did, Cooper said. In his final weeks in office, Bush pushed through the changes requiring the information we're now accustomed to seeing. So if you wonder why or who put those labels on your food, please thank Dr. Cooper. This black man made it possible.
And that's incredible because the things that we like to avoid when we purchase food and get stuff that we're building our bodies with, then, it's a good story. It's a black man that even put that there. So, hello, you can look out for your health. And real quick, I did just want to say Harry Belafonte, he did die April 25th, 2023. He was 96 years old.
Woo! So this man is, he's 97.
Yeah, 97, so they're about the same age, about your part.
Let me finish this and we'll do some last comments on this. In addition to encouraging and emphasizing better representation within medicine, the AHA has maintained a strong focus on healthy equity, from an early emphasis on social determinants of health to a 2021 commitment to 10 bold actions to address barriers to health equity by 2024. Also of note, the AHA has since had 4 black presidents, including the first woman. The incoming leader will be the 5th. All right now.
All right. Okay, yeah.
This man also has a history of 8 physicians, a family of 8 physicians. Ed and Jean were
Wow.
married for 55 years until she unalived in 2006. Their daughter, Lisa Hudgens, is a pediatrician. Another daughter, Jan Cooper, practices internal medicine. A son, Charles Cooper, is a psychologist. Another son, E. Sawyer Cooper Jr., who unalived because of Hodgkin's lymphoma at age 30. 3 of the Coopers' 4 grandchildren are doctors. So is one of their spouses. Cooper's oldest great-granddaughter wants to be a doctor too. She may only be 6, but remember, that's about the age that Ed was when he chose a career in medicine. That is amazing.
Hey, wow, what a legacy to have.
Yes, exactly. That's the word for it. He has left a legacy. And if you ever get a chance, if you are watching this and you're interested in medicine, I suggest that you go look up this man's writings, whatever he wrote, because he literally said how he made it to presidency from being where he was. And once again, the man's name is Dr. Edward Sawyer Cooper. There you go. So I would look it up. I didn't see a book name or anything, but I would look up any writings by him if you're interested in climbing up the ladder of medicine. Any final thoughts on that man? Sorry it was so long. Hello?
I mean, I just think it is an incredible legacy that he left, and you know, definitely something we should look into. I'm gonna go check out, you know, any books that he's written, because that's what you want to do. That's an indelible mark on the world that you want to leave. So, shout out to you, Dr. Cooper. You was doing it at a young age. You've been doing that your whole life. Mm-hmm. That's Black excellence right there.
Mm-hmm. Unicorn, any thoughts?
No.
No? All right. What'd she say?
I agree with Tanika.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's it for that story. Happy Black History Month, even though it was a mess.